Hello, and welcome to Film Spectacle, where I will be discussing both movies and politics hand in hand. And I know you may be going, what the heck, Spec? Why would you want to do that? Well, because they happen to be two of my favorite subjects, and whether you like it or not, movies are political. Life is political. Your tax dollars are political and are currently funding multiple genocides. You inherently participate in politics every single day, whether you like it or not. It's really whether you're choosing to pay attention to it or not. So, over the course of this channel, I will be discussing some of my favorite movies and the political thoughts that spark from these films along the way. I wanted to start my channel by semi-introducing myself and talking about my journey from an eager beaver, wannabe movie producer, to entirely disillusioned by Hollywood, and to now starting this channel. First, you can call me Spec. I've loved movies for as long as I can remember. Being raised by two baby boomers, I gravitated towards older movies like Wizard of Oz, Singin' in the Rain, Marx Brothers, Monty Python, and Mel Brooks films, to name a few. Movies were always one of my family's biggest sources of connection, bonding, and spending time together. They were also my escape, my disassociating tool, and a way to get through a somewhat sad, lonely childhood. So naturally, I took that and decided I wanted to be a movie producer. So I ended up going to college for motion picture and television production. I met my future husband in that program and many friends that I still have to this day, so #no regrets. With that said, our film program was a microcosm of Hollywood in that it taught me that everything's political and that, like my father always told me, it's called the movie business for a reason. We didn't get to make the projects we wanted to make. We didn't get to decide the roles for our major productions. We had very little artistic freedom because the most crucial decisions were made by our professors, i.e., our studio executives. So I entered as an idealistic, wide-eyed producer and left feeling burned out and artistically drained. Not a good feeling after you've spent all that time, money, and energy getting a degree. Follow all of that up with a few fairly negative experiences on productions after college as a production assistant. And I know, PAs are the bottom of the barrel, lowest on the totem pole, for sure. But let me tell you, I've worked fast food, as a hostess, waitress, bartender, and being a PA was the worst job I've ever had. So here I was, rejection sensitivity setting in, didn't have any clue what to do, so I moved in with my boyfriend. We both had film degrees, we had a camera as a graduation present, and a newfound dream to go in on it on our own. And we did. We first began by offering basically anything with a camera, photography and all, and then centered in on videography over the years. Commercials, real estate, wedding videos, documentary work, independent gigs here and there. And it mostly paid the bills, although we each had to get part-time jobs to fully survive the modern American nightmare. It was not the dream I once had of being the next Jerry Bruckheimer or Brian Grazer, but it was rewarding work for the most part, especially working on documentary projects. Cut to March 2020, and we all know what happened. The restaurant I had been working in permanently closed a few months into lockdown. My husband couldn't risk doing Uber anymore, and so naturally, we decided to start a family. And so now here I am, a few years and two little ones later, trying to figure out the next stage of my life. Now, I don't know if you've made it this far in this video, and if you have, I really do thank you. But now we're going to change gears and get more serious and talk about how the ongoing genocide in Gaza has permanently altered me and my aspirations of being a movie producer. I still had that dream, time to time, of writing a script, or maybe I would meet an independent screenwriter that would have a project that I would want to produce. I've always tended to dream big, and like I said, I wanted to be a freaking movie producer. I was inspired by other independent success stories like Robert Rodriguez, Kevin Smith, Roger Corman, and now the affordability and access that modern, independent, low-budget filmmakers have is like we've never seen before. But then the aftermath of October 7th began. Daily images on our social media feed of dead babies, grieving, dust-covered parents, children starving to the bone, war crime after war crime. The worst images I have ever seen in my life of death and sorrow day after day, all while I'm in the comfort of my own home in the Appalachian Mountains, breastfeeding my precious baby girl who was born not long before this onslaught began. I cannot begin to describe the amount of guilt, anger, sorrow, and despair that has set in over these several months. And I know that I'm not alone. Take a look around, and it won't take long to find another suffering soul in America. We are all deeply hurting in our society, and this ongoing, first ever live stream genocide is just making it worse and exposing the depths of the evils in this world. So all of this is and has been happening, and Hollywood has been silent. Now, I've never been one to worship or follow celebrities aside from a crush on Henry Cavill because, come on. But I've always at least carried a certain amount of respect for actors, directors, cinematographers, and generally all of the talent that comes out of Hollywood and the entertainment industries. But no more. Sorry, Henry. It's over. Some of these people even told us all to go vote for Joe Biden a few years ago. And I didn't, because F Joe Biden. People who were so quick to embrace pronouns, accusations of Me Too, climate activism, and any other cause that they can throw on as easily as their designer gowns. Hollywood has never been shy about politics, until now. And if your first thought is celebrities should know their place and it isn't in politics, why can't they just stick to acting? Wrong. Respectfully, but I 100% disagree. Like I said at the beginning, politics is in everyday life, and celebrities, at the end of the day, are also mostly paying taxes like you and me. So yes, they do have a say. Secondly, I first and foremost believe in direct democracy on this channel, and the only way to truly achieve that is for every citizen of this country to embrace politics and not treat it as a taboo subject anymore. And this includes the rich and famous too, even if we won't share the same views on everything. So when I see that only a handful of celebrities in all of Hollywood and the greater entertainment industry have the courage and integrity to speak up for innocent Palestinians who have no voice and no platform being slaughtered with our tax dollars, the glitz and glam of Hollywood has completely faded away. Then came the images from the Met Gala, which only radicalized me further. These attendees who paid thousands of dollars per ticket and walked right past anti-genocide protesters into the event. You looked great though, Zendaya, truly. Many celebrities have fans pleading for them to speak up for Palestine. I'm looking at you, Taylor Swift. The same Taylor Swift who can post an Instagram of her wearing a skirt, and that same skirt will sell out in 15 minutes. The Taylor Swift that swiftly came to Lady Gaga's defense to squash pregnancy rumors, but can't say a single word about US-funded genocide in Palestine in nearly 9 months. Instead, she chose her comfort. She chose the status quo. She chose to not rock the boat, keep her standing in society as it is, and she chose to stay silent. Along with nearly everyone else in these industries, not to be picking on Tay-Tay too hard. But this has permanently impacted how I think of all celebrities. Zendaya at the Met Gala is right there in my brain next to a dead Palestinian baby's face, now and forever. There is no rebranding any one of these celebrities can do to take away my disgust and disappointment. But their silence does not equal neutrality. Just ask yourself, who is their silence benefiting? It doesn't help the innocent Palestinians being murdered every day with our money. Silence only helps the oppressor. Silence has been the oppressor's greatest weapon against Palestinians for decades, and it's why most people, including myself, had never heard of the Nakba before last October. Silence is why the oppressor has murdered nearly every Palestinian journalist since October 7th to keep the truth from getting out. Silence is why AIPAC buys all of our politicians to make sure that they stay in line and give no voice to the oppressed. Silence is how Israel maintains their genocidal colonial campaign, how it has been normalized since its founding, and why the people in power are fighting so hard to crush campus protests, ban TikTok, and do everything they can to keep control of their narrative. So collectively, these celebrities staying silent have all made their choice, and they chose the side of the oppressor. I truly celebrate the few that have used their platforms and have spoken out for the people of Palestine. These are the only celebrities that I will follow and care about from now on, and every other celebrity that chose to stay silent, any ounce of respect and likability for them is gone. And along with that, any aspirations I once had of being a movie producer, rubbing elbows with any of these people, dreaming of this Hollywood girl boss producer fantasy is also gone. So what now? I'm jumping into the unknown and beginning this channel. It's been on my mind for many years now, so I'm excited and equally terrified to dive in. So I'm excited to begin this chapter in my life with all of you, and stay tuned for my next episode. I will be talking about one of my favorite movies of all time, The Adventures of Robin Hood. That's all for today, folks, and thank you again for watching and listening.